Shalom and welcome to Voice of Torah podcast, presented by Beit Yisrael International. I'm Gaddi Efrayim, and today we step into Parashat Vayeilech, a portion that unfolds with both tenderness and weight. Moses, nearing the end of his life, tells the people that he will not cross the Jordan with them. Instead, Joshua will lead them forward. The sages explain that this was not merely a change of leadership, but a lesson in humility and continuity. Rashi comments that Moses reassured Israel that just as he had led them faithfully, so too would Joshua carry them, for God's presence was with them both. The Midrash adds that the people's fear of transition was soothed by this assurance, teaching us that true leadership is not about the individual but about God guiding the nation through chosen vessels. Moses then instructs Israel in the mitzvah of Hakel, the great assembly every 7 years, where men, women, and children would gather to hear the Torah read publicly. Rambam explains in that this reenactment of Sinai was meant to engrave the covenant anew upon every generation. Even infants, says the Talmud, were brought so their presence would inspire awe and continuity. Chassidic masters like the Sfat Emet interpret Hakel as the collective heartbeat of Israel, a moment when each individual spark joins into one great flame of Torah, reminding us that revelation is not past tense, but ever present. Finally, God commands Moses to write down a poem, the great Shirat Ha'azinu, as an eternal witness between him and Israel. The Ramban calls this song a microcosm of all Jewish history, encapsulating both exile and redemption. The Zohar teaches that through this song, Israel's soul would always find its way back, even in times of concealment. In his last act, Moses does not leave behind monuments of stone, but words of Torah that endure forever. As the Baal Shem Tov taught, each Israel carries a letter of the Torah within their soul. Thus, Vayeilech calls us to recognize our own part in the living scroll of Israel, to step forward like Joshua into covenant and destiny, carrying Torah as our eternal witness.
Okay, let's jump right in. We're looking at Moshe's, his last words almost, the final chapters of the Torah, Nitzavim, and Vayeilech. And it's not just wrapping things up, is it? It's this huge cosmic choice laid out. We're doing a deep dive today on choosing life, covenant, free will, and Hakel.
That's right. And our mission really is to get under the skin of that final message. Moshe gathers everyone, and says, look, I've put before you life and death, blessing and curse, and then the crucial part, therefore choose life. We need to hear that not just as a command, but as this profound invitation, an invitation to our relationship built on real freedom, real responsibility.
Okay, freedom. Let's unpack that first.
Yeah.
Because if you're commanded to choose, the choice itself has to be genuine, doesn't it? I mean, if it was all prescripted, the whole idea of mitzvah, the covenant, it just sort of falls apart.
Exactly. That's precisely Maimonides' point in the laws of Teshuvah, repentance. He makes it the absolute bedrock. Without real free will, this power we all have to, lean towards good or, unfortunately, towards evil, then the Torah itself, the commandments, they wouldn't really mean anything. The choice has to be ours. It's how we partner with the divine.
That makes sense, yeah. But what are we choosing between? When Moshe warns about other gods, is he just talking about, like, statues? Or is it something closer?
That's where the Zohar gives us this really interesting psychological angle. It suggests those other gods aren't only external idols, they can be internal. Things like, pride getting out of hand, or destructive desires, ego, stuff that pulls our hearts off course, away from our true spiritual core. So choosing life, in that view, it's about aligning everything, thought, speech, action, with that divine root inside you.
Right, okay, so it's an inner battle too. And that alignment, that choice, it needs protecting.
Which I guess brings us to continuity, because Moshe's last big public act in Vayeilech is strengthening Yehoshua, giving him that chazak v'emat, be strong and courageous. What's that telling us?
Well, it's partly about leadership transition, obviously, but it's deeper. It's about making sure the fire doesn't go out. The Midrash actually says that encouragement, chazak v'emat, isn't just for Yehoshua. It's for every single generation. It's like Moshe's light passing into Yehoshua, ensuring the wisdom continues, one flame lighting another, and that commitment, that continuity, it needs everyone together.
Unity.
Which leads straight to Hakel, right? That massive gathering every 7 years on Sukkot. The king reads the Torah to, everyone.
Yes. And Maimonides says Hakel is basically designed to be a replay of Sinai, a huge public renewal of the covenant. Midrash Tanchuma even mentions bringing infants not because they'd understand the words, but for the sheer holiness of the event to kind of soak in. But here's where it gets really fascinating, connecting back to choosing life and unity.
Is this the thing about the 600,000 souls in the Torah scroll?
Exactly that. Midrash Rabbah points out this parallel. 600,000 root souls in Israel, 600,000 letters in the Torah, and then the Zohar and others like the Migdalei Amakot draw out the implication. Just think. A Sefer Torah, a scroll, is totally invalid puzzle if even one letter is missing or damaged. In the same way, the covenant, this collective entity, isn't whole without every single individual Jew. So choosing life isn't just a private moral decision. It's choosing to be your unique, essential letter in that collective eternal scroll.
Wow. Okay, so let's try to wrap this up for today. The core message from Moshe's final words seems to be built on these pillars. Genuine free will to keep choosing good. Trust in the continuity of tradition and leadership.
Right.
And this profound sense of unity where every single one of us is absolutely essential.
Precisely. And maybe one final thought to leave you with. Moshe seals all this living contract with the song Hazinu. It's meant to be a witness, a reminder, even when things get tough, like in exile. The Hasidic masters have this beautiful idea that song can actually transform harshness, transform judgment into sweetness. It finds the love even in rebuke. So maybe ask yourself, are there judgments in your own life, situations that feel harsh or difficult? Could bringing a sense of song, finding that underlying current of potential sweetness or connection, maybe transform how you experience them? Something to think about.